Well, we have seen no real-world evidence on what set-asides actually achieved so far. Have they been vital to growth in private network adoption, or were enterprises able to adopt private networks regardless? For example, using spectrum in shared bands, leasing spectrum, or obtaining end-to-end solutions from network operators using their spectrum. It's a new space and policy best practice is still developing, but we believe detailed analysis is crucial to support policy development. Simply comparing the number of private network users between the countries is not going to tell you much. This is because countries have different sizes and characteristics. For example, countries which adopted set-asides first tended to have a large, high-tech industrial base anyway, so it's not possible to make like-for-like comparisons. This is why we rely on statistical methods to adjust for these factors and tease out the real-world effect of policy. This requires data on how countries have fared with and without set-asides, and now in 2024 we've had enough time to observe the effect of set-aside policies 2, 3 or even 4 years after their introduction. We have used statistical analysis, which has the advantage of being able to provide inferences based on multiple countries, eliminate the effect of time trends or other factors, and allows us to see what the true effect was between the policy and the outcome. This means we can see if the cause and effect relationship exists between spectrum policy and adoption of private networks, digitalisation, or public network download speeds. We can move away from observing correlations because they are not telling of the policy effect. Correlation does not mean causation. We can also move away from examining individual case studies because they do not reflect all available evidence.
Ultimately, we at the GSMA are here to help support governments develop the best possible spectrum policies. Where governments were expecting set-asides to have a major impact on the adoption of private networks or on the digitalisation of enterprises, this should help them in their decision-making. The costs of spectrum set-asides in terms of the negative impact on public network speeds, they shouldn't really surprise anyone, but it can easily be overlooked, and in history we've seen some quite stellar examples of well-meaning policies leading to unintended negative consequences. So we hope that this analysis will support countries to carefully examine their options. Multiple countries across different regions are at different stages of public consultations, doing their own internal assessments, and digitalisation of industry is one of the most important government initiatives at the moment. So private mobile networks are a fast evolving and high growth area, but we shouldn't lose sight of the overarching objective that underlies the interest in private networks. Ultimately, what governments and regulators want to do is accelerate the digitalisation of enterprises and reap its full economic potential. So when working on the study, we discovered that there's very limited internationally harmonised data on adoption of digital technologies by enterprises. So harmonising these under an international umbrella, for example the OECD and or the World Bank, would give us much better insight on the policies that aid digitalisation of enterprises, whether that's looking at set-asides or other aspects of regulation. Also, this could enable examination of additional strains of research, for example, measuring the incremental economic impacts of 5G for enterprises or the benefits of IoT.